Lawful, chaotic. I'm not sure about these two though. This would not be good for... that.
Why did you absolve him of blame? He had a choice. He could have shared his brother's fate. Flitting Shadow could have stood firm and become something more, if only at the end. But instead he remained a mask, a puppet for a darker thing, a twisted and dead thing. But your eyes will be opened. At the end of your road lies a groaning waste of dead faiths and sundered dreams, and there you will see the twisted thing whose side you take.
Thayan Golems, Red Woman. Are you gonna help me, or are you just gonna sit there? You're just gonna sit there. Frickin' wonderful. Well, I quick saved, so I could... No, nope, he's gonna help. Okay, thank goodness. Stop murdering him. I think he confused them. And stab. You drop loot? No. I think you've got your greater water elemental can handle up. Oh wait, no, it's not the ghast, it's a golem. Stab the golem. Timber. Thank you for your forgiveness. I took no pleasure in her death. Or that when we meet outside of dreams. Did she die? I hope I didn't just kill Sophia. I need to rest, also. Yep, I'm gonna have to do this. Oh, okay, I can't do that yet. Alright, let's go talk to this wizard. Who cares about bards? I know I was one at one point, but I'm not anymore. There's Windelhelm Eisenberg. There's got to be something I'm overlooking, something I... Oh, you're here. You have to help me. What's the problem? A vile creature claims to have a right to my soul. Why would it claim that? You signed a contract with the devil? No, I did sign a small agreement, I suppose. What were the terms? My soul, that's for sure. We simply agreed on a number of favors he would grant me if I did certain things for him. You have a copy? Just taunt me with it in case I lose mine. I'll ask to see. What kind of favors was he supposed to grant you? Oh, a smidgen. Is that the contract you have there? What did you have to do for him? Might imagine nothing you'd care to mention in the presence of a paladin up here. He must know the gritty tales. I'm sure they're in the contract. I'll ask to see his copy then. Arcane Circle, huh? Says you have a... I know your kind's tricks. Ow. I do have a claim on Syl. A copy. I'll do that. Where is it? Infernal contract. The scroll reaches a length of approximately 30 feet. It features tiny, precise script written in reddish ink, presumably blood. Material you'd rather not consider too carefully. While a little of the writing is in a language you cannot decipher, the majority is written in Common. Start at the beginning. Maddeningly long piece of text starts at the document declaring the omnipotence of someone named Asmodeus and declaring the inevitable victory for the devils over their long-hated foes, the demons. Then you find a passage that pertains to the matter at hand. I, Faris Windlehelm, do enter the bidding agreement of the devil Esben for an unspecified length of time. The terms of the agreement exist in accord with the tenets laid down in the Pact Primeval, which states that, on for many pages citing a document of considerable importance to devils. Section regarding what favors were granted is located a few pages into the document. Short passage prefaces this section, followed by a text. The signee agrees to the following favors are to be had upon completion of the services mentioned. The type, number, and degree of services rendered are not negotiable after the signing of the document. Read the smaller text. Each favor shall be granted but once, and the duration of 1 year, renewal each time the signee fulfills the obligations of a new favor. Should the favor's duration run out without being renewed, it can be granted again for another year starting from the date the signee fulfills the obligations of another item on the list. 5 favors listed total. Each specifies the condition required to be granted. They seem to have an order of sorts, with the later favors requiring more from the signee. First favor. For the favor of one powerful magical item unspecified, the signee must inflict pain on a helpless being. Increase skill in one area of endeavor, the signee must perform a mischievous act on a hated foe. Signee must cast a spell of evil nature. Must cause grievous harm to another being. Signee must cause directly or indirectly the death of another. Skip to the end. Final part is more mind-numbing legal jargon before ending with a signature that clearly reads Faris Windlehelm. Below is a long string of neatly written symbols. Slightly above the signature you notice a section of incredibly small text. Examine it. So small you can barely make it out. If you hadn't been carefully examining the document, it's likely you would have missed it altogether. It reads, furthermore, the signee agrees should all services be rendered unto the provider for favors services granted in response, the signee's immortal soul become the property of the provider for all eternity. Examine the string of symbols. They will appear to be sharply written odd geometric patterns. After you realize it can only be Azabur's signature. Well, frickin' lawyers. Actually, it does say something about your soul. Here at the bottom, it says that you didn't even read the whole thing? You just signed a contract with the devil? Are you mad? Wasn't the brightest thing I've ever done. No argument there. How did you get into this mess to begin with? Two apprentice under the tutelage of Master Wizard Galban of Telfalm. First studies went well, but the other apprentice, Ithis, began to pull ahead of me. Master began to get upset that he had to teach us at different rates and started assigning me menial tasks so he could spend more time with Ithis. It became so unbearable I went to look for a new teacher. Yes? The active teacher who lived nearby was a summoner, but I arrived early to our meeting and he hadn't returned home yet. Instead, I found this thing in a circle in the center of the room waiting for me. Did the summoner ever arrive? I don't know. While I was waiting, I began talking to it. It was sympathetic for my plight and promised to help me with my problems. Are you sure that he did? Is that when you signed the contract? What happened next? Galban began to visit me whenever Galban and Ithis went out. We eventually came to an arrangement. A kind of arrangement. Drastic as the first contract he offered me. As you should expect from a devil, was with my soul as a price and everything. The first contract. Later he came to me with another contract promising it was much different than the last one. Required small favors on my part, and nothing was required of me. That's this one here. Yes, then it went terribly wrong. Not quite. Sometime later, the favors I had earned vanished. My studies plummeted. Once more, only it was worse this time, because both this and Master Gamen suspected I had been cheating somehow. So, what did you do? Unfortunately, this burst in my room caught me talking to him and immediately began threatening to tell the Master. What did you do? I think I quickly cast a spell at him. He wasn't quite so quick to run to the Master after being doused with acid. Fortunately, I had an idea. The silent spell memorized as well. You wouldn't believe how much he screamed. Ouch. Heard a few things, just started running. I don't know where I was going, but I knew I had to get away before the Master discovered what I had done. Didn't take long for him to find me, though. And then, don't leave me in suspense, that it was dangerous, and he began chanting a spell. I didn't know what to do, so I closed my eyes and was cowering when I heard the crackling of energy and a harumph of surprise. Okay. What happened? And he was gone. I searched the area where he'd been. There was only found some dust. Scared out of my mind. What do you think happened to him? I honestly don't know. He might have been teleported away, or he might have been killed by a spell. Either would explain what I found. Are you sure you didn't do anything? No, the spell I used to silence Ithis was the last spell I had memorized at the time, so I fled again. I didn't stop until it had gotten dark out. Staying at an inn about a day's ride from Telefem when I found a letter in my pack. It said that the terms of our contract were complete and my soul would become his property upon my death. So now you're trying to get out of it. Heck yes, I'm trying to get out of it, wouldn't you? I suppose so. I've been researching infernal contracts for weeks now, with little progress due to the subject matter. People look at you differently when you tell them you want to find out about making pacts with devils, you know? Have you discovered anything useful at all? A bit about Baze 2 lore. From anyone of real authority, I have found some interesting things and stories written about infernal contracts, however. Summoners crazy enough to have frequent dealings with these are sticklers for detail and always try to do things within the rules they set for themselves. Nothing. Stories? Two general themes of stories. First type, the adventurous mortals who escape from their contracts by using their wits. Second type, well, adventurous mortals trying to escape from their contracts using their wits, only they were outsmarted by the devils and had their souls taken. Let's stick with the first type. Mortals will always escape their contracts by finding some other type of error in the contract or proving the devil broke the rules somehow. The rules? Don't know what rules Ansbur might have broken. We have an expert standing right over there. It's worth a shot. Also, I am down to 10. Nope. I guess this is stage 4. I'm not below stage 4 yet. Questions about the contract. This. Stronger, richer, or have certain problems, shall we say, taken care of. We are happy to oblige as long as they fulfill the conditions set. Require mortals to fill are generally small matters that are only of interest to my kind, such as petty acts of theft and cruel acts, torture, finally terrible acts like murder. What do you gain by forcing mortals? It's quite like your mortal jars. If I perform well in this task, I stand a chance of being promoted, and if you do poorly, find it better not to think in those terms. Okay? Favors and conditions? That. Corrupts the one performing the service, of course, that's what we do, after all. Corrupt mortals. Yes, actually I wasn't. What's the purpose of corrupting mortals? We get out of our bargains. It's always me with them. Well, very well. Delighted to explain to you. To our mortals, as you refer to us, or devils as you mortals refer to us, have a unique economy that is based on souls. The more souls the devil possesses, the richer and more powerful he is. The main problem is collecting them. Yes, we can't just grab a mortal soul when they die, though certain unsavory elements have been known to do just that. There are rules that govern these things, you see, and if nothing else, a Bezitu always follows the rules. Like, when a mortal dies, his soul goes to his god. If a mortal doesn't worship any god, his soul becomes property of the god of the dead. You mean Kelmore, the current one. They change so often. Why, there have been at least 4 different death gods since I was spawned as a lemur. That would be Jurgle, Merkel, and Cyric and Kelmore, right? I just only remember Jurgle. Kept detailed records of everything. If such were possible, I'd say he was better at negotiating contracts than Bezitu. What happened with him? Gave away his position to Merkel. Why would he do that? Believe it or not, the popular story is that he was bored with the position. He still toils on, though, just not as a god of the dead. He dwells in the City of Judgment with Kelmore and serves as a scribe. I imagine it's a much less demanding job than the former one. Huh, interesting. Merkel? Wondrous god of the dead. His priests spread fear and death with efficiency and panache. How did he lose his godhood? He was killed during the time of troubles while fighting Mishtra over the mortal city of Waterdeep. Can you really kill a god? Well, it's possible, but it's not usually as final as it is for mortals. Gods who die still linger on for quite some time in other planes of existence and can be reawakened if enough mortals pay worship to them. Cyric. Not much to tell, really. Cyric wasn't the Lord of the Dead for long enough to really influence our dealings much. What happened to him? Some sort of uprising, I believe. When the dust settled, Kelmore was the Lord of the Dead. Okay. It was a bit of a problem at first, for he didn't wish to deal with us at all, preferring to punish the wicked and reward the innocent. Those were tough times indeed. Things changed when Kelmore began acting like a proper death god. He sent messengers to the Bezitu asking to renew former ties with us. Caused the change? Well, for sure, some say his love for Mistra died, its last shreds of humanity died with it. Others propose that he was disciplined by Ao for not doing his job properly. What do you think happened? Huh. Okay. I asked about something else. The contract. Favors and conditions. Conditions. Such as... Oh, we already asked this. Okay, fine. Another question. How does one get out of a contract? So there's no way to get out of one? So if there were a flaw in the contract somewhere, a mortal could get out of it. And that's it? No other way out? And the question were to inadvertently break the stipulations of the contract, that would become null and void. See what would happen if the Bezitu broke out of any of our laws in carrying out the contract. Mind if I ask you another question? I was wondering if you could tell me about law. It's far too complex for a mortal to possibly understand in a single lifetime of study. Give me a brief explanation of how it works, then. May as well ask the ocean to be served to you in a thimble. A thimble of holding, maybe? But I will try. Bezitu law is based on the concept of volition. Mortals are our property by divine decree, so long as they willingly give themselves to us. But there are rules. Always there are rules. Under no circumstances is Bezitu allowed to coerce a mortal into signing a contract. The same applies to the fulfillment of contract in whole or in part. What does that mean? It means, dear mortal, that we sit back and let you do the majority of the work. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Said there was something wrong. Okay. Also, I think I'm at that point now. No, I guess I'm not quite at stage 4. I'm close, but not quite there. Fine, let's look at this contract again.